We find examples of fasting throughout the biblical narrative. It was a regular part of the Jewish culture in the first century and a central rhythm of the life of the early church. There are a number of examples in the Old Testament of the people of God fasting and praying as they sought to receive strength or guidance from the Lord. 1 Samuel 7:6, Nehemiah 1:4, and Esther 4:16. We also find that the early church incorporated fasting as a part of their regular worship, Acts 13:2 and 3. And of course, we find that in preparation for his ministry, Jesus is led into the wilderness to fast for 40 days. There are a number of ways people define fasting that include fasting from food, pleasure, or some sort of technology or social media. However, biblical fasting is always connected to fasting from food or water and is always connected to spiritual intentions. It is an act of self-denial. Calhoun shares that fasting is an opportunity to lay down an appetite for food, for media, for shopping. Through self-denial, we begin to recognize what controls us. Fasting trains our bodies to not get what they want. We deny ourselves in order to receive from God. Richard Foster shares, in experiences of fasting, we are not so much abstaining from food as we are feasting on the Word of God. Fasting is feasting. Dallas Willard reminds us that as we fast, we are able to recognize our utter dependence on the Lord. It is He who sustains us, who keeps us going. He is the source of all of life, beyond food. And so, as we fast, we are able to prayerfully recognize this dependence. Jesus teaches us about fasting by reminding us to stay connected to the heart of the discipline, connection with and reliance on God. He teaches us, when you fast, don't look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Fasting is not meant to bring you clout. It's not to be used to impress others or to get people to feel sorry for yourself. It's an act of submission and sacrifice and should always be connected to prayer. So instead of going out for lunch or going to the grocery store, take some time to walk and talk with the Lord. Or instead of picking up your phone, recenter yourself toward the heart of God. We fast so we can feast on the bread of life. Here's an initial question to discuss as a class. Have you fasted before? Create some space for your class to share about one another's experiences with fasting.